Hello, Kelowna. It's Alexa here from Kelowna Now, and I am so passionate about what we're going to talk about. So I'm going to try and get this out before I get sensitive and get emotional
You're allowed.
on live. So Anita Parker is here, and it's kind of amazing because you and me have been behind the scenes, like secretly talking to each other about women's health, and we both suffer. I'm still suffering. Are you still suffering?
I'm on the other side of being symptom free
Okay.
from perimenopause.
But here we are, two women that I would say we like to be active, out in community, relatively healthy, but really have struggled in their life. So, Anita, can you share with, I want to scream it at the top of scream it at the top of, well, we are at the top, it feels like, but I really want you to share what is happening on April 12th.
Okay, so Wisdom Wealth Wellbeing is doing their first annual Thrive Women's Health Summit. So this is something a little different than what we've done on a corporate level with the organization. And this really spoke deeply to me from my own personal experiences. So what this summit is going to look like is doctors, specialists, experts, nurses, NDs coming in and sharing their vast knowledge on different areas of women's health. For me, when I started my journey, probably about 7 years ago, no one was telling me I was actually going through perimenopause. And one of the things that I've learned is that perimenopause can actually start as early as the age of around 36.
Oh, no.
Right? And so people don't realize that. So the beautiful offering with this is that we're going to hear about different stages in women's health, because I think that's really important. Yes, we're going to focus in on hormones. We're going to also talk about correlations with those. So cardiovascular health, which I'll tap a little bit more why we're adding that in. The mental health piece, which is really huge, and so many other pieces. Here's the best part of this event. Well, there'll be so many. I'm like, I know from my own journey, I went for years in and out of different specialists, seeing different doctors, paying out of my own pocket, spending thousands of dollars trying to figure out what was wrong with me, right? Yeah. What's wrong with me? And the reality was it took me probably finally about almost a year and a half ago where I finally was getting in the right conversations with the right professionals to actually say, hey, you're actually in perimenopause. Here's what's going on. And I love my family doctor. He's absolutely brilliant. The best part, I'm going to circle back, is that we have an amazing speaker who's going to share on how to advocate and ask the right questions to your family doctor so that you're streamlined in the right direction of where to go to get help. And this is one of the things that we don't necessarily know what we don't know. So we try all the things, we see things online. I mean, I just think about all the money that I spent trying to fix this. And so we have this particular speaker giving you amazing tools to move forward in your overall health for women.
I just think, and maybe you can also relate to this, I feel like for years, each generation, my mom, dealing with stuff, women have to go through a period every month, but I think you weren't ever told that, no, it's painful, just you're fine, take some Advil, go away. But really, if you're really having painful periods, it's not normal. And somehow in the world, it was said that you should just be quiet and move on, and you have to go through life like this. Here at 33 years old, I'm so fed up with being told to go back on birth control when you're trying to have a baby, all these kind of things. It just seems like nobody's actually looking into the cause of this pain. So I'm thrilled to even just hear you say that they're going to help me try to explain this, because maybe I would have been streamlined a long time ago. Yes. And I didn't stand up for the pain. And my mom didn't know what to do because her generation was even worse than that. They didn't talk about their pain. And that, like, I was a 12-year-old sitting in, I can remember it, I failed exams. I would be throwing up midday, and then I'd go try and write an exam. And I'm just a girl, and I'm supposed to just keep going.
Yeah.
So and now that you talk to other women about it, or now that you start to talk about it, I think people are like, oh, it's like 1 in 10. I think it's like 1 in 3. Like,
absolutely.
It is wild. And it's not saying that we all have the same journey and the same symptoms and the same issues, but it is mentally draining being in so much pain. And it's not just, 4 days out of the month. And
no, there's the leading up to, the during, and then the after. And yeah, I'm sorry that you had to go through all that. And here's the thing is that for me, I was such a stand on this because I would like to help women bypass all this, because I would say probably about 3 years ago, I remember like saying, oh my gosh, I think I understand now why people would want to take their lives. And that for me was like a moment of, what's wrong with me? Like, I'm having these thoughts. My thoughts were not my own because my hormonal scale was so out of whack. And, having all these symptoms, even cardiac issues, and then only to be, having, the halter and having the stress test and the cardiologist saying, everything's great. You're doing, everything's great with your heart. And then having another episode, like literally going to bed, wondering if I was going to wake up.
That's so scary.
And so
that's not a quality of life.
It's not a quality of life. And I, much like you, I've always gone through life being very resilient, very positive, very upbeat, to be like, introverting and going, oh my gosh, I don't know if it's even worth being here. And that is, I'm happy to say that is not who I am today. Yeah. But going through that period, I never understood, because I've always had a zest for life. But hitting that rock bottom during perimenopause was very scary. It was crippling because, showing up as me, as a mom, as a friend, et cetera, it was a struggle each day to show up and be that positive, resilient person, right?
Well, I think though, it sounds like you and me both have strong support systems, but people that don't have that strong, or you are internally, like, it's a rough cycle to be in. My acupuncture actually reminded me, because I was feeling very down and frustrated. Why do I feel like this? I'm eating right, I'm exercising, I'm seeing him twice a week, I'm trying all these things, herbal, natural,
yes,
everything. And because I don't think extreme painkillers are the answer to these problems. I've tried them and it doesn't go well. But he reminded me that, because I've been in so much pain, I go through stages where I've been so much like a high pain for so long that your actual gray matter is changing in your brain. So that is probably why you felt suicidal, because that's not who you are. It's not who I am. But it's extreme, and it's sad to watch, because I've seen women in my life who've gone through a menopause, and it's actually forever changed them because they clearly didn't get the hormonal support or whatever treatments that they should have, and now they're very anxious. They can't drive themselves. It's just...
Yes, I remember that period. I would actually be scared to cross the bridge, a fear of, literally fear that I might fall off the bridge. This is a whole piece, and that's why we're diving into the mental health piece of it as well. It's ironic, but not ironic, that something that I was just doing every single day all of a sudden became very scary to me, because there was uncertainty because of the imbalance of what was going on. So, I'm really excited to bring, this is something different. A lot of the events that I've done here and, around the country, et cetera, has been focused a lot on business, and I love that. 100%. And that will continue to be a thing. This is at the forefront of how I can find another way, with all the exceptional humans by my side, to pour back and to help women teens, we're going to be diving into like different decades. So like teens, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and really supporting them and giving like the toolbox that you're going to be given on this day will be so powerful, and it will be the beginning of sharpening the tools that are in there, of like, continuing to add. I mean, I'm just so excited, and I cannot wait for you to be there. So it's April 12th at the beautiful 50th Parallel Estate Winery. We are supporting KGH Foundation for this event.
Awesome.
Yes, and as you know, we always want to give back when we're pouring into community and wrap our arms around a nonprofit. So we're excited to be working with KGH and loving on them. And if you are interested in being a part of the event, so we still have some sponsorship spots to be filled, and we still have a few spots left for vendors. So we are looking for vendors who align specifically with this event that will help pour into women's health. So if you or someone you know has a business that's aligned with women's health and what will help women in that whole holistic approach, please message. Yeah, so you can find me on Instagram at Anita Best Life or at Wisdom Wealth Wellbeing. You can also head over to the website at wisdomwealthwellbeing.com. And we are excited to connect with you and just grow this into such a beautiful offering on a yearly basis.
I just think knowledge is power. So even the more that women come together, and over the last the last year, us talking about it, like look at us sitting there and talking before a live stream, and then you were like, well, I actually have some exciting news. Don't tell anyone. And I'm like, oh, but I want to tell people. Like, I think even as a female, you might not suffer from this now, but I think you don't know what it's going to be like in 10 years. You could have been, had a regular nice cycle, but menopause is a whole different ball game. So I think it's so important to be in your 20s and 30s and learning. I mean, we don't know a lot about the human body and all this, we're just getting studied, it feels like. So the more we talk about it and share our stories, the more I think we'll find paths forward for women to not be living in agony, not feel like they're suicidal from their hormones, have a better time getting pregnant, having cycles, it's not going anywhere. This is a monthly thing.
Well, and I love what it is. And we're not just going to be talking about hormones. I just want to, but here's the thing, is that when we normalize the conversation and get the right education, I mean, the schooling on this kind of stuff of getting your menstrual cycle was so minimal. And the education I have now, being 49, I'll be 50 this year actually, it's like, why wasn't this actually immersed in our curriculum to really help? Like, let's get the studies going for women. Listen, I love men. I love humans, period. And we need to start gathering the data for women to help them to move forward. So it's not like, oh, it's that time of the month for her, she's, she's emotional and all that stuff. It's
stigma to it.
The stigma, like, let's get rid of the stigma and like, let's pour in and educate.
Yeah. And it's okay that if you're struggling, you're not alone, and please connect with us, and I can't wait. And thank you to Anita Parker for bringing this to the Okanagan, and I just can't wait to attend, and then also just help watch you grow, and Kelowna and I'll be a part of it as well, because it definitely, you want a good quality of life, and your health is probably the number one thing. Right? So
absolutely. Thank you. And I am so truly honored to be in alignment with Kelowna Now. You have all been massive supporters to our organization. So thank you. You can grab your tickets on Eventbrite.
They're going to go fast.
Yes. Tickets. Oh, actually, when we launched it, the ticket sales were like, boom, out the door.
And Kelowna's so last minute, so that's awesome.
So get your tickets. There's only a select amount of VIP tickets, and we are sticking to that. So you definitely want to grab your tickets now. And thank you so much for just being amazing and helping me spread the word.
Well, and thank you for sharing your story.
My pleasure.
Thanks for watching Kelowna Now.